What do you know l'autre livre pour faire? Nous avons fait Aina bon matin.
Aina bon matin. Aina.
Merci.
Aina.
Aina.
Ça veut dire
Ça nous a fait livre ça. Moi quand il lit, exokai point coup, exokai dit en anglais.
Bon.
Exokai point coup. We'll take looks. Ma force tini antifi yote ka kriye Aina. Le yo di ou belle, i pate belle blag. Moun di se belle ite trop belle ki pou vien ite ka maltrete nom ek femoun wiyo. Ite ni a mes ka di nom iyeme yo. Ek lese nom la vini o ti mamay. I ka di bay maman, i pa jamais di se nom la anye. Ek se pa ni yon ni de vie parole ite ka di se nom la. I ka kuye yo mante, cochon, anye di tout, enfin, ite ka wanje zafen. Se ti malewe a, te ka pati koui akwe di se jab ki te de. Sa te ka wache che maman, pas li mem teni de gason. Et qui partait kai se voudoué en moule maltraité yo comme ça.
It's my kind of woman.
Yeah. Do you understand?
Okay. Mrs. Alphonse had a young girl who was called Aina. When they tell you she was good looking, she was pretty, she wasn't pretty in joke. People said it was lovely, she was so lovely. And that's why she would ill-treat men. She would ill-treat men and make people laugh at them. She had a style of telling men that she liked them or she loved them. And when the men came to see her mother, she would tell her mother that she never said anything to these men. And there wasn't one unpleasant word that she would say to these men. In other words, there were many unpleasant things she would say to them. She would call them liars, pigs, anyadi too. Is a good for nothing.
Good for nothing.
Okay, I like that, anyadi too. Enfin, she would fix them up.
So she'd fool them, and then when they came to the mother, she'd deny everything.
Right, yeah. The poor little fools, they would run off as though it was the devil that was behind them. Or it would hurt the mother, it would break the mother's heart, because she herself had 2 sons, and she would not have liked anybody to treat them that way. Okay.
This word, itini a mess. Can you say l'habitude?
She had the habit.
Yeah.
She had the manners, she had the way. Premier moun qui priait ça, c'est Philippe. Un jour, il arrivait la caille Alphonse et qui dit Alphonse comme ça. C'est Aina qui voyait au tir. Les Alphonse tente ça, il dit Pouchion. Il want pour la réponse. Moi et Aina, c'est bon chant. Il dit moi, il aime moi et qui d'accord pour marier et puis moi. Parole là, pourquoi t'es fini sortir bouche Philippe? Alphonse Angélé Aina. Aina répond. Et ti maman, moi ka vini.
Okay, the first man or the first person who got caught was Philip. One day he arrived at Mrs. Alphonse's house and he said to Miss Alphonse that Aina had sent him to see her. When Mrs. Alphonse heard that, she said, "Why?" And he answered, or he gave her the answer, Aina and I are good friends. She told me she loved me and she agreed to marry me. He'd hardly finished speaking, or the words were hardly out of his mouth, out of Philip's mouth when Miss Alphonse called or shouted to Ina. Ina, Ina, Ina answered. Iti? What's that?
That's yes.
Okay. Yes, Mum. I'm coming. She's a real so-and-so, isn't she? Eh? Okay.
Là arrivé en dedans Kaila, maman dit, Monsieur Sala dit moi ou voyez au témoin pour un affaire mariage. Aina gardé maman, il gardé Philippe. Il dit, "Man, qui côté Sala sorti?"
Merci.
Moi pas connaître Monsieur Sala.
Uh-huh.
Mal faut sauter. Philippe même, il perd la parole. Ça Aina dit si puis tout bonnement. Man Alphonse dit, Aina, moi pas ni l'idée c'est fou Monsieur a fou. Pour venir ici et dit moi ou dit ou kay marié. Aina dit, man, moi pas connaître Monsieur a moi dit.
Okay, when he got inside the house, Mama Adi, the mother said to Aina, "This man said that you sent him to see me about some marriage business." Aina looked at the mother. She looked at Philip. She said, "Mom, where that one come from, huh?"
Where that one come from, huh? Okay.
I don't know that man at all. Mrs. Alphonse jumped. Philip himself, he lost his speech. What Aina said surprised him completely. So Ma Alphonse said, "Aina, my pani lady, I don't think this man is crazy for him to come here and say that you're going to marry him." Aina said, "Mom, I don't know this man, I tell you."
You women.
Good for her.
Okay.
I tell you. Quand ça il finit 10 paroles là, Philippe parti courir. Philippe parti courir quand coup de zéclé.
Okay.
C'est pas des hontes, il te honte. Pour ça. Aina wete à Kaila ka chwe quoi kaou.
Eva?
Malfos dit, Aina, ou asiwe ou pas connaître monsieur? Aina dit, moi pas connaître lui. Moi pas kay menti ba ou.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Moi pas kay menti ba ou. Malfos dit, d'accord.
All right. So, when she'd finished talking, I suppose it was she, Philip ran off like a bolt of lightning. He was so ashamed. Man, was he ashamed. Aina stayed in her house, laughing herself to death, or laughing heartily. Miss Alphonse said to her, "Aina, are you sure you don't know that man?" Aina said, "Mum, I don't know him. I would not lie to you." Mrs. Alphonse said, "Okay."
L'air cimenté jacoulé à sous ça. Maltide couri mouté la caille Alphonse. Il arrive la cour. Il a essoufflé passer qui. Malphonse dit, ça qui arrive ou non? Maltide dit, ou pourquoi t'en as rien? Malphonse dit, rien quoi qui ça? Maltide dit, aïe, eh ben, c'est vous qui savent ça dernier. Malphonse dit, dis-moi ça qui passe.
When a week had passed on this, Mrs. Altide ran to Mrs. Alphonse's house. She got to the yard out of breath. Mrs. Alphonse said, "What's wrong, huh?" Mrs. Altide said, "You haven't heard." Mrs. Alphonse said, "Anything like what, huh?" No. So she asked her if she hadn't heard anything. And so she answered, "Anything like what?" So Mrs. Altide shouted, or said, "Oh, you'll be the last one to hear." So Mrs. Alphonse said, "Tell me what happened now."
This Ika essoufflé passé qui? She was really out of breath?
Yeah.
Okay. Puffing and panting.
Okay.
I like the way you did that.
Brand new dog. Maltid dit, monsieur a quitté côté ou la semaine passée. Ou savi pan koy, ou savi pan koy hier soir. Malfos mette la main en bouche. Il dit, oui alors. Maltid répond ni, oui hein. Bon matin, moi apprendre ça oui. Malfos était là, il pas dit rien. Maltid vini parti, et ça finit là.
Miss Altid told her, the man who was with you last week, you know, he hanged himself yesterday evening. Miss Alphonse put her hands to her mouth and said, really? Miss Altid answered her, yeah, sure, or this morning, I got to know that this morning. Miss Alphonse stayed there, she didn't say a word. Miss Altid left, and that was the end of that. Yeah.
Vini party, that's interesting, eh?
Yeah, came yeah.
Soit si men apre sa, Malfos te assise a balcon ka di gwenen pwa. Iwe a misye ka vini. Quand misye a arrivé à la cour, il dit, bonjour madame. Malfos répond, bonjour monsieur. Monsieur a dit, est-ce que ici à manger Aina Kareti? Malfos dit, oui. Il dit, madame, non moi c'est Philbo. Aina voye moi oti. Il dit, il kay maye pi moi ek Malfos. Il dit, il kay maye pi moi ek Malfos coupe parole là lui-même. Ka coupe parole li la même. Ou asiwe c'est Aina qui voye ou? Philbo dit, oui madame. C'est lui qui voyait moi au TV.
Not.
3 weeks after, Malfos was sitting on the balcony shelling peas. She saw a man coming. As the man arrived in the yard, he said, good morning, madam. Mrs. Alphonse answered him, good morning, sir. So the man said, is it here that Miss Inez lives? Mrs. Alphonse said, yes. So the man said, madam, my name is Philbo. Ina has sent me to see you. She said she would marry me, and Mrs. Alphonse cut off his speech right there. You sure Ina sent you? Philbo said, yes, madam. She sent me to see you. Good.
Pato, deuxième garçon Malfos là, te à la cour. Malfos dit, Pato, ay kouye c'est au bas moi. Il a caïman non, mon non. Mi non, oui. Il a caïman non. Les petits 5 minutes déjà passé, Pato arrivé et puis c'est.
Okay, Pato, the second son of Miss Alphonse, was in the yard. Miss Alphonse said to him, Pato, go and call your sister for me. She's at Miss Non's house. When about 5 minutes, after about 5 minutes had passed, Pato returned with his sister.
Nous allons débouter ici à Rodia et nous allons continuer et puis l'histoire à dans l'autre l'histoire.
Bon.
Okay?